Hey, Jordan, thank you so much for spending your time to have a chat today. Really appreciate you giving up your time today to allow some potential content partners of mine to make an informed decision as to whether to go ahead with my services.
Mate, happy to be here. Always got a bit of time for you. So let's dive into it.
Thank you, my friend. So, tell me a little bit about your history in the entertainment scene, first and foremost, so you can get a clear picture for your role in the entertainment sector for the people watching.
Oh, mate, it's a bit of a messy one. I guess the brief version is started DJing in high school, finished school, got a gig at the Greenwood, like I think everyone else going through Sydney did. Was there for a year, got a bit sick of being told what to do and what to play, and sort of I was studying events at TAFE and then uni, and kind of wiggled my way in. Had a chance to do an event, and somehow we got 3,000 people there over the night. Um, Only 1,500 in at once, of course. And then I think from there I started doing events at Greenwood, and then that built into doing events at the Crow's Nest Hotel and the Green Gate and up in Hornsby, and I was pretty much doing the whole North Shore for a good couple of years, and then moved up to Queensland and started doing the same thing up there. So we're doing equipment hire, DJs, putting on events. Um, so we're doing both states. Then we expanded into SA, doing a few events down there. Now we're doing DJs out in Roma as well. About 2 years ago, the Sheaf approached me to come and get their Wednesdays back up and running because they were pretty much dead. Um, so, mate, just events, DJs. We do the marketing, we do the bookings, we do the promotion, we do sort of the whole thing. Um,
So, pretty much everything is what you do.
too many hats and not enough heads at the moment.
That's the way, mate. Look, well, we've absolutely loved being a part of your brand and getting amongst your projects. We are going to talk a little bit about the Sheaf today, and it is one of the venues that we have spent a lot of time together doing. So
Yeah.
tell us, what was the position that Sheaf was in and the problem that you found with your digital marketing that required you to go seek a solution?
Post COVID, I think pre COVID, Sheaf was full every Wednesday. It was just a powerhouse. I think COVID just sort of killed it. They brought in a new promoter. They changed hands a few times. It just didn't really get the love it needed, and it pretty much died. When I took over, I walked in thinking it was going to be big, like I'd always heard, and it was a ghost town. Um, so I guess same thing to when I got Greenwood off the grounds. We had to get the right team in. So the young DJs, the promoters. I'd worked with yourself at Greenwood pre-COVID, and I think this was just coming out of COVID that this all started. And I just said, well, I need photos, I need stories, I need media, and I want to just make this as simple as possible to get up and running. So I just said, well, let's get Matt. He can do again one head, four hats. It's just one less thing to worry about. Um, and we're coming up to about 2 years there now, and it's been full every week since what, November.
It has. It's been quite the turnaround, and it's been amazing to see. I mean, when I used to go to the Sheaf when I was younger, it was very standard to see
Yeah.
lines going all the way up. Was it Cross Street or whatever that street is?
Oh, no, New South Road or
Yeah.
something.
Whichever street it was pretty
Yeah,
standard that when you're going to the Sheaf, you could get lines up to Edgecliff Station. It was that
yeah.
caused that much traffic. And it was genuinely heartbreaking going to that venue again, seeing what COVID had done to it. And, it definitely had the potential. It was just about implementing the right strategy to help bring people back into the venue. And as a consequence, we actually became one of the first venues to start implementing live stories and Instagram reels into the venue, which I
Yeah.
thought was, what we both agreed was a very, very good new way to help bring in people into the venue. Would you like to talk a little bit about the strategy behind that and why we decided to go to that particular route, which was a bit unconventional compared to what other venues were doing at the time?
I think post COVID, Facebook just died. Go back pre-COVID, as you remember, our Greenwood events ran from the Facebook event. That was the main driver was getting 2,000 people, 3,000 people clicking going on these events, and they went viral. Now we get a couple of hundred maybe on a big event if we put a lot of money behind it. So Facebook's dead. Um, TikTok is a pretty tough cookie to crack in terms of you've got to put a lot of work in to get it going, but Instagram's still the winner. And I figured, well, Facebook albums and events used to be the engagement hubs of events. that's died. So how else do we do it? I thought, well, people love seeing himself online. Let's just put him in the stories, and then use those stories plus other content from each week, and have a reel every week. So it's basically an after movie every week, and from that, just the sharing that we get every week on those posts is what I think keeps every week pumping.
Yeah, beautiful. And it's also interesting to note here as well is that this was a strategy that was molded a couple of times. I remember when we were first coming into the venue, before we started doing Instagram Reels, we started to go from professional videography and we moved it into Instagram Reels, getting them once a week as opposed to professional videography maybe once every 3 to 4 weeks. Could you tell me a little bit about why you felt the Instagram Reels were a bit more of an appropriate means to solve that problem?
Two things. I guess the turnaround from just promotional side of point is with some of these apps now. Once you work them out, you can pump out quality reels a lot quicker than having to, as you know, put 10 gigabytes of raw footage into a program and wait for it to upload and edit it. And it can take normally 10 days is a decent turnaround for a proper club video. Some guys can do it in a couple of days, but they're not sleeping.
Hmm.
With the reels, yeah, as I said, you can do it overnight. But you could probably do it in the Uber home from shooting a club if you had a long way to go. If you know, so I think it's just easy to pump it out, and they're short and sharp. The after movies are great. They're good for big festivals and stuff where you want to see 15 different DJs and 10,000 people. But for a club night that's probably averaging the moment, I don't know what, 600-700 people a night. You just want to have 5 or 10 seconds with a relevant song, snippets of people having fun, and that's all they really want to see.
Yeah, and it's a lot more familiar, raw, and organic, which is what I've always appreciated about something like that. And I feel like that's where marketing is trending nowadays. It's not so much the crazy edits; it's more just the what's digestible, what can
Yeah,
people absorb. And I feel like that was a really, really good move that the Sheaf made moving forward to try and bring people in. And I feel like the ideal client has really resonated with that. So yeah, it's been a great testament to the work that we've been doing together. And for anyone watching this, the sheep has not been dead since, which is so good to see. Like we've got last night, I was shooting and the lines were back out down the street, which is just so good, and it warms my heart to see the impact that digital marketing actually has, and the rewards that one can get from implementing the right strategy. So yeah, I think we've done awesome work there.
oh
So
yeah.
so tell me a little bit about before you started working with my particular services, what other solutions had you looked to implement into your business to help boost traffic into the venue? And what did you feel like the core difference was with my brand compared to other brands you might have worked with?
I guess that was just doing what works, as simple as it sounds. Like before we were working, which was really pre-COVID, when I was working with other people, sorry, it was again the Facebook events and just spamming online. You would go and get your 10 promoters and your 10 DJs to invite their full friend list to the event, post a couple of times, share it, and that was what got the attention. We've always, for some of the events, we've still do EDMs and texts and call outs and stuff like that and posters, but I guess now the thing that works is short videos, it's reels, it's Instagram, it's TikTok, and that's why it's well, we've got to be the best in that space because midweek isn't what it used to be. In the 2 years we've been at Sheaf, I think there's 5 or 6 Wednesdays have come and gone at pretty respected venues with respected promoters, but they just haven't been able to crack it. And even like a long running event like Sheaf, the first year they were only just scraped through. Now the hard work's paying off and it's going really good. But again, this winter, it's not going to be wall to wall every week. Some venues will just shut up for winter for their midweek events completely. Um, we won't have to because I think we just keep doing what's working. But every little thing counts.
100%. And have you felt like, what would you say compared to other people who were trying to get content in your venues? What would you say was the major difference between content that we were able to create?
It's just an extra level of professionalism. Like once we've said it, you and I some weeks don't even have to chat. We touch base every 2 to 4 weeks just to if there's anything special coming up. But on a normal week, I know that I can not even have to blink. and that the event's going to have someone there taking photos, doing all the stuff we do, the reel, the stories, everything is done, and it's in my inbox the next morning, ready to go, and it's just done. There are, there's too many in every industry, but I've had other people that take some good photos, but they didn't have the level of care for the event. They were there to, take the pictures, have some beers, and go home. And yeah, they did an all right job. But that was just all they were there for. They didn't really care about the event. And I think when you put your business hat on, the better you make the content, the better the event is. In this climate, the longer the event's going to run, the more work you have.
100%. I couldn't agree more with that. It is crazy how much content has become a core pillar of events nowadays. And it's definitely one of those things that absolutely needs to be nailed for an event to be as good as it possibly can be.
Mm.
And so tell me, when you were, I mean, it actually has been a long time now, I think we've been working for each other for at least 5 or 6 years now, I believe. But
Yeah, I
I
reckon
think
about that.
yeah, I think you've sort of covered this idea already, but what gave you the confidence to pull the trigger when we started working together in terms of locking my services in to be your guy when it came to content?
Well, when I took over, say, Sheaf, there was, because it was dead, there was bugger all budgets. And the budget I had was quite small, and it actually didn't fit everything I wanted to do. But I just said, and they flagged, do we need photos and stuff every week? And I said, that's the reason, and that's the reason people are coming, is because our socials are blowing up from these pictures, from these videos, from these reels. Obviously, other factors, the promotion, the DJs, blah blah blah. But a main part of it was the media. And I said, reduce that, reduce this, whatever, but you've got to keep the reel and the photos every week, because that's our momentum. And
100%.
that's what it came down to. I just said this a few times. We've had winters and stuff, and they've said, what can we look to reduce? I said, it's not the media, because that'll reduce everything else.
Very well said. Very well said. And so tell me, have you referred my services to other people? And if so, what would be the 3 points of recommendation that you would put forward to someone?
Hmm. I reckon I would have referred you to about 10 or 15 different people over the last couple of years. And it's good seeing a few of those on your socials that have come to life. The first one is that professionalism. You actually care about the event, because, again, in a tougher climate these days, you can get a photographer who can take a good picture, or you get someone who actually comes in and almost takes on the brand as their own and really nails what you want it to look like. So that's what I say, is he will bring your vision to life, basically, and that's something that a lot of the cheaper and younger guys just can't do. Yeah, they might grab a good picture of a crowd with their hands up, but it's the 1%ers that really make the difference, and there's just an extra level of quality. So there's that. Just easy to deal with, and I guess you've got a good model. Like, if it's a busy weekend, you've got a few guys that you've trained up who can come and help you, and you'll be able to cover a bigger venue, bigger events. And I guess just the turnaround time. You've never once not got it to me when it was, later than it was due by. Because being just too bloody busy, I have set days on Monday I post everything for the month, and a Thursday I get the pictures from the night before, and they go up at 3 o'clock, and blah blah blah. It's always to a T. And once in a blue moon, everyone has something come up, and you give me plenty of notice, and it's actually no real big issue if the pictures go up at 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock. No one cares, but you're very open about everything.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time today. It was great to have a chat with you, and I cannot keep wait to working with you in the future, my friend.
Awesome, mate. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, mate.